Okay, well, we'll get underway. I'm Luther Kruger, Big Blue Sun Museum, Solar Cooking, based in Minneapolis. And I'm in beautiful Colorado Springs. Almost a perfect day for solar cooking. And I got to have you pronounce your last name.
I'm Peter Sprunger-Froese.
Sprunger-Froese, okay. And
Mary.
Great. Peter and Mary consented to talk about their solar cooker and a few other things in their life. I always like to include, you know, what's the context of all this.
Sure.
So,
sure, yeah.
So that's I guess that's the first thing I got to ask is, when did you discover solar energy in any way, shape, or form? And when did you focus on solar cooking? When did you put together this thing?
Well, we moved here in 1979, and so a couple of years before that in Saskatchewan, I had built my first solar oven, and it had a vintage that was, you know, somewhat earlier and less efficient and so on, but it worked good.
Sure.
Didn't even have a wheel or anything. It had a cardboard box that was insulated and one sheet of glass, and away we went.
Yeah.
And then with aluminum foil, I built some kind of reflective supplement, and away we went. It got to about 300, 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 1979, and then we moved to, or no, 78 maybe. Then we moved to Colorado Springs. We met in a seminary in Elkhart, Indiana,
Okay,
before
sure.
that, and then we moved to Colorado Springs, and then, well, we turned ourselves loose on this aspect of piecework, and
Sure.
as you know, environmental work is an important part of piecework,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. That gives just a thumbnail sketch.
Sure.
Maybe you want more detail, we can do that, but it's...
Well, definitely want to talk about how you put this thing together, because it's I've seen a lot of DIY models, and not a lot of people trust themselves enough to make one that really cooked a good volume of food.
As a brief history of that would be, my first version was a triangular model, and that meant it had to sit level in order for you not to have your food spill over, whether you're doing cookies or cake or bread. So I scratched my head about different things, and the idea of a round solar oven emerged. But then, following the idea of a round one so that you can always have it level,
Sure.
whether you're having a morning type of heating or cooking, or June 21, where it's almost level around here, to December 21, when you have the sun so angled that's when your glass has to sit, almost like that.
Yeah.
And so a round one would be able to accommodate all those different angles of the year when the sun does this or that.
Sure.
So that's why the rationale for this round one is to try to accommodate the sun.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so now it might be a chicken and egg thing, but
yeah, right.
But Craig and Joe, as I mentioned earlier, their model, the Freedom Cooker, I think they called it at one point, is almost a mirror image of that.
It's no kidding.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So maybe did you guys work together at all, or maybe they just saw it and said, we can take it from here. And
who are they?
Craig Shearer and Joe Froese.
Right.
Yeah.
Joe was my blood brother. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Solar Freedom International.
Yeah.
Was the, I don't know which
He
one.
might have gotten the idea from Peter. I don't know, because they were always in touch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Joe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I'm 10 years old. I am 10 years older than he was. He died 2018.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we compared notes a lot. Yeah.
Well, I remember, you'll see it in the video where Craig talks about them visiting a metal shop, because they wanted to get the reflector to be as close to like a parabola, and about the only way they could be catching the most sun was to have the circle.
Yeah.
But they found no other way around to have a square opening with the window. So the reflectors had to go around it, but meet in the. So they said, we don't know how to do this, and so he tells a story in the video that they met with this guy who was just a metal savant.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't have any engineering or anything, but they go to this metal shop and they say, "Oh, you got to talk to whoever, Charlie in the back." And they describe what they want. He says, "Oh, well, you want round to square, round to square." You know, it's basically you want a round shape to change to becoming squared. And drew it up, made a thing that fit in four pieces fit just exactly what they wanted. And I got this 15 years ago. Someone in Manitoba was selling it, and I drove up and picked it up, and it goes right up to the glass, so all the reflection gets through the glass rather than bouncing out the little, you know, or absorbed by the whatever. Anyway, they put a lot of work into it. So,
Well,
yeah,
that interests me deeply. I had built a parabola too, and it was in 1998.
sure.
The parabola itself was 6 feet in diameter.
That's a
6
good
feet
size.
in diameter, and then I made it so that the focus would be 2 feet out.
Okay.
So the focus was 2 feet in front of the deepest part of this parabola.
Okay.
And there, I made a dangling kind of thing, so that the bottom of that solar focus,
Sure.
which came to a small head of
Very
intense
hot.
heat.
Oh, 1,000 degrees or more, something.
You bet.
Yeah.
So that focus, I had hit the bottom of a popcorn popper.
Oh, yeah.
And so I popped popcorn with the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was fun.
Yeah,
'Cause
it was like a stove top, not an oven.
Yeah. Yeah, like a gas
Well,
range top.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it could do, which was great.
Yeah. So that was a fun, and then that thing, we went to Saskatchewan for Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
We were away a week. That thing got stolen from our backyard.
Oh, no.
3 blocks away.
Ah.
It got stolen.
Huh.
It was gone when we came back.
So someone saw the value. That's like, or maybe they thought it was a radar dish for
I think they
TV.
probably had no idea what it was.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, there was a technical curiosity for sure.
Yeah.
Like you're saying. Yeah. That's, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna zoom in with this, and this I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
these are done, so I need to
Yeah.
take these out. I don't know if you want a picture of
Yeah, I definitely want to. And
where the door is.
yep.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I don't want to
Turn this the right direction, and like choices you made. The one that seems to be universal for box cookers, when people make a model that they want to last, is and be more effective, is to have the door in the back or the side, because having to reach in there to grab the glass as a door just doesn't cut it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
this is very
Yeah.
handy.
I don't need to explain that then. That's
Yeah.
great.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and then and then the metal you got up to the wood, but then you sheathe the wood with metal, but it doesn't touch.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can just take it out, right?
Sure.
Okay, great. Yep.
And I've been using fiberglass insulation. I know some folks have used other stuff, but
Yep.
I find it to be most durable, long range.
Yeah.
He's used a lot of bicycle parts for this, like
Sure.
this and that.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, bicycle technology and solar technology, they intermix
Yep.
pretty well.
yeah, so we can move this up and down to make it,
Oh sure. The spring loader. That's a lot like the Solar Chef, Sam Irwin, who passed away about 3 or 4 years ago. It's an octagonal shaped thing with glass mirrors, and he's got a thing that you can hold right in front of the mirrors, and it unplugs that from the front, and with the holes just like what you got.
Oh,
Yeah.
what you do here is this has to be a right angle to make the highest sun.
Oh, there you go. Okay, and then so that's what they
So
call a
that's-
sunlight. Yeah.
That's what I was doing,
Yeah.
is down one. Just to get it back up
Okay.
a right angle where
Yeah.
the light comes in.
Sure.
Yeah.
as you know, if the sun makes a perpendicular hit to the glass,
Yep.
that's the maximum heat gain. And then if you put your the angles of the solar reflectors at 65 or like 120 degrees out from 90, then you'll get your maximum advantage from the reflectors.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, reflectors do help. They do help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the most produced commercial models right now, the sun oven which was Tom Burns came up with it 1980s. And he worked with Sandia Labs in Albuquerque to develop the Villager. Have you seen the Villager?
Yep.
It's like you get 40 loaves of bread at a time, they say. You get cooking it, and it comes with its own trailer. And it's like the angles everyone used, 60 to 67, I think they say is a...
Yeah. We had one for our house that we run for homeless people as a group. So I built one that was 6 feet long, and at that point I didn't make it round yet. I just built the triangular model. But I built it that long, and then, of course, the bottom and the top of the reflectors were just the width of the glass. But the end reflectors, well, they could be long because, after all, the glass was 6 feet long. So I had long end reflectors where each of the solar rays were still being helpful.
Sure.
I don't think we have any picture of that, but that would have been a strange, sort of archaic picture.
Yeah, and then just all bicycle parts. Those are bicycle wheels with the bicycle inner tubes for some kind of like a little bit of traction.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, and then the bicycle chain to kind of make it square, right? You got a little tension on that in the middle of the box.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that allows when where the solar oven sits on those ramp 2x4s.
Sure.
Then the ramp is such that it's easiest to max out the heaviest part of the oven, so that, for instance, Mary can more easily tip the oven vertically from one extreme to the other.
Oh yeah.
With that handle in the back.
Pretty much almost balanced by weight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's important. A fellow I interviewed near Lake Sonoma, he's got an off-grid ranch at the top of this mountain nearby. Not like Colorado Rockies mountain, but mountain that part of California.
Oh yeah.
Stan Wells, and he made a tracker that two-axis tracker, so it can go up or down, whatever, with just worm gears and all spare parts he got at junk stores and little solar panels from lawn ornaments.
Yeah.
Because he had it balanced, so the weight was just right, so it wouldn't need a lot of power. Except that at a certain point, it just got a little too heavy up front. He said it took 4 or 5 dishes, tipping over and barreling out of the window.
Yeah. But that was an attempt to make things even more convenient.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, I am going to pull the chair over here, this other chair over here, and point the cameras, and we're going to talk a little bit about the other stuff you're working on, because that's integral. I mean, it's,
you want to be between us here?
What's that?
No, he wants to sit there.
I can sit here or there.
Sure.
I'll sit here, because I think actually if I do this, and that'll be good. That way you won't be staring into the sun.
Did you want a muffin? I don't know.
Oh, sure.
What did I just drop? I just dropped something.
Uh-oh.
It's one.
Oh.
That's why, because I was trying to see if it was done. Yeah. Let's see. Hopefully they're done. I thought they were.
Oh, they look good to me.
Yeah, let's see.
Well, like, kids and cookie dough, it doesn't have to be 100% done.
I don't know muffins, I think they do, not cookies.
Oh, maybe. Three of us.
Yeah, you could have done them a little longer.
Well, I can put them back in.
No, that's all right.
I thought they were done, but make them more crunchy.
Move this a little bit closer.